Hi there, this is Joanne from TrueAuthenticPower.com from Tapping.me, and I'm also the creator of the program Catapulting to Confidence. I wanted to do an audio today just to reinforce what I keep talking about or expressing with clients and groups, that if you're going too far up the chain to the symptom of a problem, you are most likely, oftentimes, when you're stuck and still looping and circling, you are not getting to the root cause. And I see people spend a lot of time on the upper levels of a symptom, whether it be physical, emotional, whether it be a success, manifesting your money, an illness, weight, any of those things are too far up the chain, in my opinion. When something interrupts our energy, something physically interrupts our energy, that could be a drug, that could be a trauma, that could be an interaction, it could be a long-standing pattern that got rooted and locked in at a subconscious level when you were young. When any of those kinds of things are playing on you, circling in you over and over, you can do a ton of tapping. You can do a ton of energy work. You can do a ton of healing. You can waste your time, money, and energy because you're too far up in the symptom level and not going to the root. So let me give you some examples. There are a couple of things that were going on in some of the different Facebook groups that I participate in, and I listen to those Facebook conversations because I want to hear why people are struggling or what they're bumping up against that they're not getting resolution for. And so when I'm listening to conversations, a lot of times I will reply or educate because I see this pattern over and over again. Too far up into the symptom, and they're not getting to what caused the interruption in the first place. So there was a physical discussion about somebody saying they had a female problem, a physical female problem, and then they gained a bunch of weight. Now, I am not an expert at that female problem, but on my intake form, when I see a client for the first time in a new session, I do a physical intake form. And the reason is the body will tell us when something has been interrupted and is energetically out of sync. I don't work on physical symptoms. I'm not an expert at physical symptoms. I can't cure, diagnose, or treat physical symptoms. But it's amazing how when you get to what caused the interruption in the first place, the physical symptoms will go away a lot of the time. Not always. Like I said, I'm not here to cure, diagnose, or treat. I don't have a health background, but it's amazing how the physical things or the emotional things or the money things or the success things will start to just dissolve when you get to what the root cause is. I want to say that the physical things, the emotional things, the things like money and success, I have found, at least from my personal experience, not only my personal experience, but with clients and clients and clients, that those symptoms are oftentimes rooted in something else. Things like you never got heard, things like they don't listen to me, I'm not safe with them, I never get my needs met, I'm afraid to hope, I've never had the safety level I want, they give me my needs but not my wants. There are so many things that can be an undercurrent, and when it's painful enough and it gets rooted enough and you've looped enough, and sometimes it can happen in a blink, those interruptions, but people go too far up the chain. So if you are having a money or success problem, and I'm speaking from experience because, oh my goodness, I looped in this pattern in an unbelievably frustrating way. I had an on-again, off-again situation with money and success. Then I got a boatload of success. It was wonderful, the highest income I've ever made, loved my job, loved my position, and bam, life hit me. Now, there were two things going on here. One of them was the trauma of what hit me that caused me to go into such an interruption. And those were unexpected life events that I could not control. But there was a secondary thing going on here. And the secondary thing was the pattern from childhood of always hoping they would give me what I needed, hoping they would hear how smart I was, but they were blaming based on an inability of intelligence instead of the fear that was rooted. It's a different dynamic when you get to the undercurrent, when you get to what interrupted things in the first place. I don't know if I've told this story in the past, but I'm going to tell it again. There was a gentleman that I worked with who had a bone spur in his neck. It showed on the x-rays, and it was related to his divorce. It was not about a pain that showed on the x-rays from a bone spur. I don't know if the bone spur ever left, but we dealt with the issues of the divorce and the pain went away. Do you see what I mean? He was trying to address the symptom. People try to address the weight, the money, the physicality of something, when actually it's probably rooted to something much deeper. And I hear people spinning and circling and spinning and circling, and I did the same thing until I got to the undercurrent. For me, it was a big deal around safety. Right from the get-go, I didn't feel safe in school, and there are reasons why. I won't go into that now, but there are reasons that started who can I trust belief that's undercurrent. Yet, there was a part of my heart and soul that was stuck in that moment of time because of the interruption that had me convinced that my safety is all hinged about them. When I started to change my energy, the outward manifestation started to change. The outward ability to move forward started to change. It wasn't about them. It wasn't about the circumstance out there. Well, it was about the circumstance that started it. But my healing it, fixing it, clearing the loop, the subconscious belief was now embedded in my energy and in my subconscious, and that's where I needed to go, not to the symptom. I don't know if I'm getting this point across clearly or not, but I see so many people going after the wrong end, the tail end, instead of the nose end of a problem. And I'm telling you right now, you can be spinning for a very long time. You can be looping for a very long time if you don't figure out what caused the interruption in the first place. So, for example, when I do an intake form and I see somebody had a development of allergies in some grade, or all of a sudden their grades started falling off, boom, right there, that's a clue that says something happened. Something went on. We're not trained to think that way. So we go to, how do you fix the problem? The problem needs to be fixed at the root. So you've got to scale back. When did it start? What was going on? What was, happening around me? Because it might not even be your issue. It could be something that you saw happen to someone else, some kind of shock, some kind of trauma, some kind of interruption, something you didn't expect. All of those things now start to interrupt the energy. I know I've told this before, but I'm going to say it again because it's appropriate for this conversation. When my dad passed away, I developed asthma and bronchitis at the same time. That was a symptom. It was not the problem. I took an inhaler. It did nothing. I went to emergency. I had, tests done and things that... Oh my goodness, it was not about the physical symptom. It was about the emotional upset, and it hit me like a ton of bricks. No one asked me what was going on emotionally. No one ever asked me about anything else in my life because they're looking at the symptom, which most people do. It breaks my heart when I see people, because I know if you are going for the symptom, you could be looping in that for a long time. I did it, and it was painful, and it made me feel even worse, thinking, what the heck is the problem here? Is it me? Is it my body? Is it karma? Is it past life? Oh my goodness. It drove me crazy. So my point is, I lovingly am sharing this. You may hear a lot of frustration from me because I feel so badly that no one is addressing the root causes of things as much as they're trying to focus on the symptom. Do you know that a money and success issue might have nothing to do with money and success? It might have something to do with, I'm not allowed to get what I want. It's not necessarily about the thing that you think you're blocking. It might not be about love. It might not be about health. It might be something that takes some skill and experience to get to. I share these videos and audios that I do on YouTube and on my sites and anywhere else, doing podcasts, interviews, and things, because I think it's so misunderstood. I think tapping is misunderstood. People will do superficial tapping And I've done it too, and it can help in a pinch. And sometimes it can actually release what's in the way. But I'm talking to those people that have been ruminating and are circling and swirling and spinning in the same thing, and they're not getting relief. I would suggest to you that you need to go deeper. You need to find somebody who knows how to do that and not beat yourself up, because there's a reason, and there's a protection, safety reason. If you cannot get out of something, oftentimes after a lot of time and trouble, there's usually something that says it's not safe to do that on some level. There's a way to address it. There's a way to heal it. There's a way to release it. And I hate to see people suffer when I know there's solutions. So for what it's worth, I wanted to do this audio because I don't think there's enough explanation about tapping and how things get locked and rooted in. There are videos of how to, and they're bright, shiny objects. You know, everybody wants to talk about love and money, but that may not be where the root cause is. And I just want to give those of you who have tried and it's not working, and this isn't working, and I've tried affirmations and I've tried doing this, and take a breath, because there's something else. And to find that, you've got to go deeper. So many people, including myself, when you talk about going deeper, get scared of the pain. You know, what's it going to reveal? How long will I stay there? But oh my goodness, when you get to the pain loop, and it doesn't have to take a long time if you've got an experienced coach or someone who knows what they're doing, when you get to that, it's short and it's quicker than you might ever think. And if it's taking you a long time, you're not going deep enough. I would suggest that you're not going deep enough, or you might not be going deep enough. There's no end all be all, matter of fact. And I tend to talk a little bit that way because I've seen such miracles when you do hit the pocket, and I know what's possible. So I guess I can't say always for everybody all the time, but it has been my experience that, man, when you hit that pocket of resistance, everything can open up. So many things can change and relief can come. And I'll just say, as an EFT practitioner who has seen that over and over again with lots of clients in many situations, my own clients I'm talking about, not just hearsay stories, when I have seen that, when I have seen what an energetic balancing machine can do, and I know it can pop things open quickly, when I was in my own, it drove me flippin' nuts, because I know it's possible when you hit the right target. I know it's possible when you go deep enough. I know it. I've seen it. And I think it's possible in many more circumstances and situations for many more people than is known. So for what it's worth, I just wanted to share this to give some explanation. Instead of just tapping, I wanted to give some explanation, because people have the wrong idea about why tapping isn't working. Well, enough for today. This is Joanne from TrueAuthenticPower.com and also from tapping.me. I hope this helped, and until our paths cross again next time, bye-bye for now.